I'm actress comedian Shondalia White, and I'm back with another I Can't Eat Shit quick tip.
It's a quick tip.
When you're navigating the world of restrictions, there's a lot of terms to learn, but two definitely stand out right away, and that's cross contact and cross contamination. But aren't those the same thing? Not quite. Let's read a definition. Cross contact is a transfer of allergens from one food to another, while cross contamination is the transfer of bacteria and microorganisms from one food to another. Still sound the same? Let's break it down. Cross contact happens when you have an allergen that is transferred to a food that doesn't already contain that allergen, and it's not supposed to be there. So, for example, you're at home and you're making a sandwich. Well, my husband, he can eat gluten, and I cannot eat gluten. But say he's using a cutting board. We're both using the same cutting board, and he uses a knife. All right, he cuts his sandwich. He does not clean off. He just kind of dusts off the cutting board, and then he goes about his day. I come back, and I'm using that same cutting board that has not been cleaned, but I didn't know that it had residue from gluten on it. I put my gluten-free bread down, and then I cut it, and now we have cross contact because I have his gluten stuff on my gluten-free stuff, and now we got a flare-up. We got a real problem. That happens all the time. So that's an example of what can happen with cross contact. Another great example of cross contact is when you go to a potluck, you go to a buffet, you go to somebody's house for dinner, and it's like a lot of people, and maybe there's catering or something. It's cross contact is going to happen because a lot of times people don't change serving spoons, or they don't watch how they flick stuff, and maybe they grab something and just flicks over here, so you got a little bit of this sauce inside of that sauce. That kind of stuff drives me nuts anyway because I don't like it. Just feels dirty. But if I ain't eat first at the dinner, then I'm not eating because it really scares me because I know there's some cross contact that'll happen. And then allergens and flare-ups happen after that. Our good friend cross contamination is more trifling. This is when you got all that bacteria and microorganisms that are growing on stuff. You're going to get food poisoning. So if you come home from something and you realize like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm turning green. I've had that happen before. I ate something and there was a salad. It's one of the reasons I'm not even going to name the place. It was one of them salad places where I had a fresh salad and somehow some cross-contamination happened where there was some raw food that got mixed in with my lettuce. And when I tell you I almost exploded in the car, I almost didn't even make it home. It was a mess. Now that's cross-contamination. Now you're getting food poisoning because there's literally so much bacteria in something from raw food. You can get salmonella poisoning, and I actually had that. So again, it's something really bad, and yeah, you're going to get sick. Another example of something like that where it can happen at home is once again, you're cleaning the chicken or the meat or something in your sink. Well, you don't wipe it out real good, and then you go right back and now you clean it like your fruit or your lettuce or something like that later on. Well, guess what? If it's something that you're not fully cooking, you're going to get that cross-contamination. You likely will get sick or get some sort of food poisoning. The good thing is proper cooking can actually kill this. So how the heck do you prevent it? Well, there's a few ways you can do this. One is clean. Clean, over clean with your trifling behind. Make sure you're clean. Because if you don't, you can easily cross-contaminate or do the cross contact. Whenever I do anything, I'm cleaning the surface right after. And whenever I'm handling something, I'm washing my hands in between. And I'm talking about I got the nail scrubber and everything. Just so I don't deal with that stuff. I've had a lot of issues, y'all. So I have learned from that. I wipe down handles. I'm wiping down bottles. I'm wiping down everything. So over clean. The second thing is try different utensils. Making sure that maybe you get a different cutting board. This cutting board is for this. This one is for that. And only do that. This knife is for this. This knife is for that. Maybe if you color coded, maybe if you just buy literally a different knife. It's just a different style of knife so you visually remember, okay, these are for this and this is for this. That should definitely help you out. And the last thing, especially when you're at home, those safe food handling processes. I'm sure a lot of us don't necessarily know all the safe food practices, handling practices. So I'll look that up and link you below so we all on the same page. Make sure you're handling your stuff right so you don't cross-contaminate or have some cross contact. And that has been your quick tip. Check out full episodes of I Can't Eat Shit podcast wherever you stream your podcast. You can also check me out on YouTube at Shondalia White, I Can't Eat Shit podcast. I have a watch list if you want to watch me and an RSS feed if you just want to listen. If you watch me, there's bonus material. There's another way to do that. My full cooking segment, where I teach you how to modify recipes based on my restrictions. They're oh so good, so make sure you check them out. And bonus, for season 2, I'm modifying recipes inspired by my guests, and they're doing commentary along with me, so you don't want to miss it. You can also check me out on Instagram at I Can't Eat Shit Podcast or at Shondalia White. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. I can't eat shit!
It's a quick tip.
I Can't Eat Shit podcast is not a replacement for a medical professional. If you need help, seek out a trained medical professional, nutritionist, or therapist to help you with your specific needs.